the Senate. The status is as follows. 61 bills are pending conclusion, of which 44 are at second reading stage, while 15 are at the Committee of the Whole, and 2 are at first reading stage. 38 motions are pending conclusion, 19 petitions are pending conclusion, out of which 15 are due for reporting by respective standing committees, and 466 statements pursuant to Standing Order number 53-1 are being considered by respective standing committees. On Tuesday, 4th November, the Senate committee will meet to consider the business for the week. The tentative business for that day will include business not concluded from today's order paper, as well as business that will be indicated in the notice paper. The tentative business for morning sitting, Wednesday, 5th November 2025, will include the scheduled questions to Cabinet Secretaries as approved by the Senate Business Committee, as well as motions. The questions in consideration include the following. Question to Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock by Professor Ojienda. Question to Cabinet Secretary, Interior and National Administration by Senator James Morango. Question to Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration by Dr. Khalwale. Question to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration by Professor Tom Ojienda. Question to Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration by Daniel Maanzo. And to the same Interior Secretary, we have a question by Senator Edwin Sifuna, another one by Shakil Abdallah, another one by Catherine Muma, another one by Senator James Lomenen, another one by Senator Joyce Korir, another one by Senator Kaduri Murungi, another one by Senator retired Stuart Madayo, another one by Senator Mohammed Chute, and finally a question from Senator Mwenda Gataya Mofaya. Finally, we have a question to the Cabinet Secretary for Defense by Senator Mohammed Abbas Sheikh, and the tentative business for the afternoon sitting on Wednesday, 5th November 2025 will include business not concluded from today's order paper and the following. A, bills at second reading. The County Wards Bill, the County Government's Bill, the Street Naming and Property Addressing System Bill, the County Government's Bill, the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, the Culture Bill, the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Amendment Bill, the Kenya National Councils for Population and Development Bill, the Electronic Equipment Disposals, Recycling and Reuse Bill, the Energy Amendment Bill, and the Health Amendment Bill. B, it will also include bills at the Committee of the Whole, which include the Sports Amendment Bill, the Public Fundraising Appeals Bill, the Heritage and Museums Bill, the Environmental Laws Amendment Bill, the Statutory Instruments Amendment Bill, the County Government's Education Laws Amendment Bill, the Sports Amendment Bill, again, the County Civic Education Bill. It will also include, Mr. Speaker, several motions, namely the installation of CCTV cameras in all police stations, cells, and police reporting desks, provision of integrated financial management information system reports for county governments to the Senate, mainstreaming gender perspectives in legislative and policy processes, establishment of a policy to regulate artificial intelligence and innovation in Kenya, and to delink junior secondary schools from primary schools. Finally, but not least, Mr. Speaker, There will be the motion for the projected business. The projected business for Tuesday, 6th November 2025 will include business not concluded from Wednesday order paper and any other business scheduled by the Senate Business Committee. I thank you, and hereby, on behalf of the Leader of the Majority, Aaron Cheruyot, EGH MP, I lay the statement. Thank you.
Now, honorable senators, I will allow comments for not more than 15 minutes. So if you get a chance to speak, kindly do so for not more than 3 minutes. The Honorable Enoch Wambua.
Thank you, the Speaker. The Speaker, I want to make a brief comment on the statement sought by Senator Okia Omtata on the privatization status of Webuye Pan paper. The Speaker, it will be important for the committee to which this statement is committed to clear the air about a very fundamental question that the Senator has sought to clarify whether this was actually a sale or it was a lease. Because the information of the Speaker that is out there in the public is that Pan paper was acquired by Talochan Limited, a subsidiary of the Rai Group, at a cost of 900 million Kenya shillings in 2016. And the Speaker, going by public conversations around Pan paper, it would appear that it was an absolute sale, that deal was closed and Pan paper went to Rai Group, and so what they do with it then becomes their own private business. Mr. Speaker, this question is important coming at a time that there are national conversations around the privatization of the Kenya Pipeline Company. Mr. Speaker, as a leader in this House, as a leader in this country, I just want to caution us, all of us, including myself, leaders in this country, that this appetite for privatization of public assets, especially strategic assets, is not a good thing for us now. It's not a good thing for the future. I say this, Mr. Speaker, because I hear that the argument being put forward for the privatization of the Kenya Pipeline Company is that we want to finance, to support the budget for 2025-2026. Mr. Speaker, after we have privatized and sold part of KPC to private investors, and we have financed the budget for 2025-2026, what will we sell to finance the budget for 2026, 2027, and 2027-2028? Mr. Speaker, you cannot be selling assets to finance national budgets. The best thing to do is to cut our shirts according to the size of our cloth. If the budgets are too huge, then let us forego expenditures today and work hard to bake a bigger national cake. The option is that we cannot be selling national assets to finance budgets.
Senator Chiranke.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't know why the ODM guys are excited. But Mr. Speaker, let me say the following. One, I want to thank the ODM Secretary General for bringing this statement on teachers. Senator Sifuna, I agree that it is very unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, that teachers have always to make noise and go for strike for their allowances to be paid. Yet it is budgeted, Mr. Speaker. What is the work of Teacher Service Commission, Mr. Speaker? These are small matters. If we are bringing upscaling allowances of teachers who went to participate in East Africa Secondary Schools games, in Kakamega, Mr. Speaker, it is very unfortunate. Mr. Speaker, one of the professions that is attacked from all angles, Mr. Speaker, are teachers. You remember we fought in this House against the scrapping of hardship allowances, Mr. Speaker. That was amounting to 6 billion, Mr. Speaker. You remember, Mr. Speaker, every teacher that retires in this country, for the ex-crusher allowances or payment upon retirement to be paid, Mr. Speaker, they must run around for almost 3 months to be paid, Mr. Speaker. Even in the extraneous allowances, Mr. Speaker. I agree even the marking. Imagine after finishing marking exams, teachers have to make a lot of noise for the allowances to be made, Mr. Speaker. I think it is unfair to teachers. I agree with this statement that even by the time, and I wish the Chair of Education would have been here, to issue even a progress report by next week, Mr. Speaker, I request for your indulgence, because it's a small matter. It is just the TSC to pay teachers the allowances. It is as simple as that, Mr. Speaker. Finally, on the issue of rye, Mr. Speaker, and Webuye and paper mills, is some people have selective amnesia. They are not saying that during privatization of this company, it was under President Uhuru Kenyatta. We have just inherited assets and liability, Mr. Speaker. And I want to say on the floor of this House, because I'm speaking after Deputy Minority Leader, that the government, when we pass the Privatization Act, Mr. Speaker, it does not mean the government sells the entire state-owned, Mr. Speaker. All of it, the government retains the stake, like Kenya Pipeline and many others, Mr. Speaker. We are also lying to Kenyans because, Mr. Speaker, most of the suckers, the parastatals, all of them are making losses, including KICC, Mr. Speaker. I saw they were making 4 billion loss or plus. A number of parastatals are not necessary for this country, Mr. Speaker. We must allow the government to privatize, Mr. Speaker. We have also PPPs, acts, public-private partnership, Mr. Speaker. It is in the interest of the country that a number of these state-owned that are making losses, Mr. Speaker, must and should be privatized for the sanity and stability of the economy, Mr. Speaker. Let us leave the politics outside what we want to achieve as a country. I don't think our future generations will be happy, Mr. Speaker, if we continue to have state-owned institutions that make losses, Mr. Speaker. I yield.
Senator Kavindu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to support this statement by Senator of Nairobi about teachers. Mr. Speaker, it has really been long for teachers. Every time they want an increment, every time they want any promise that has been made to them to be fulfilled, they have to go on demonstration. Mr. Speaker, it's a high time because everybody, including even the highest top seat in this country of a president to the least, they all pass through the teachers. And teachers are very important people to this country, and not only to this country, to the world. Because without teachers, then we cannot be able to do what we do best. Mr. Speaker, it's always good to do what the teachers want and give them what they want so that they can be able to work. Some of them are working under very difficult conditions, especially those who are working in hardship areas. And yet, even for hardship allowances, they have to demonstrate, they have to go on strike so that they can be given their hardship allowances. And even when they go on retire, Mr. Speaker, some of them end up dying even before getting their gratuity and all this. And it is important to mind about the teachers. Mr. Speaker, I also want to comment about the statement about privatization of companies and even private companies. Mr. Speaker, like in Machakos, I have an issue with a land issue where the chair or the chairman of the company, that is Matungulu Farmers Cooperative Society company, wants to make it a private company for himself. Mr. Speaker, and that company is owned by 114 people who are supposed to be members of that company. And he wants to privatize it with only 46 people whom he has given shares. Mr. Speaker, this is going to harm and hurt so many Kenyans. And so, Mr. Speaker, this one I don't support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, honorable senators, allow me to rearrange the sequence here of today's order paper. We will come back to comments after we have dealt with order number 10, 11, 12, and 13. Clerk, proceed to call those orders.
Order number 10, motion. Report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. Peter Kangwaru Nyaga regarding the plight of landless in Mutantara, Embu County. Resumption of debate interrupted on Wednesday, 29th October afternoon sitting. Question to be put.
Clerk, do we have the requisite quorum? We do? Okay, I'll proceed to put the question. That the Senate adopt the report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. Kangwaru Nyaga regarding the plight of the landless in Mutantara, Embu County, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 7th of October, 2025. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 11, motion. Report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. Robin Kalama and other residents of Marungu in Taita Taveta County concerning threatened eviction from their ancestral land by Holy Rosary Catholic Parish, Mwanda. Resumption of debate interrupted on Wednesday, 29th October, 2025 afternoon sitting. Question to be put.
Honorable Senators, I now put the question that the Senate adopt the report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. Robin Kalama and other residents of Marungu in Taita Taveta County concerning threatened eviction from the ancestral land by Holy Rosary Catholic Parish, Mwanda, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, the 7th of October, 2025. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 12, motion. Report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by representatives of Mwandabusi land squatters in Bobaracho Ward in Kisii County concerning delayed allocation of alternative land. Resumption of debate interrupted on Wednesday, 29th October 2025 afternoon sitting. Question to be put.
Honorable Senators, I put the question that the Senate adopt the report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by representatives of Mwabundusi land squatters in Bobaracho Ward in Kisii County concerning delayed allocation of alternative land by way of resettlement or compensation for the ancestral land that was alienated by Government of Kenya for creation of the Kisii Agricultural Institute and Kisii Farmers Training Center laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 7th of October, 2025. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 13, motion. Report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. Najib Shamsan and other petitioners concerning recognition of land ownership rights and redress of historical injustices in Mombasa County. Resumption of debate interrupted on Wednesday, 29th October 2025 afternoon sitting. Question to be put.
Honorable Senators, I now put the question that the Senate adopt the report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Mr. Najib Shamsan and others concerning recognition of land ownership rights and redress of historical injustices in Mombasa County, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, the 7th of October, 2025. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. We will now resume comments on the statement sought. Senator A.C. Okenyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I wish to weigh into Senator Sifuna's statement. Senator Sifuna's statement on the delayed payment, Mr. Speaker, paints a feeling of frustration and exploitation, Mr. Speaker. I have personally grown up in the house of a teacher, and the challenges I had then are the challenges we are experiencing right now. So, Mr. Speaker, I do not know, is the problem successive governments or we just don't need teachers? Mr. Speaker, worse still, right now lecturers are on strike. Students in campus who are to sit for the examinations are at home, and the fear is these students might not graduate, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I would wish that the committee that is going to look into this weighty statement by Senator Sifuna also focuses on the basis of the current payment of allowances, especially for the teachers who are marking examinations. Because like now, even the ones who are supervising, who just finished supervising KPSEA examinations, someone is being paid 1,600 shillings for 4 days, and they have to travel from either Nyamarambe to Etago, that's in Kisi. The distance does not match whatever those teachers are being compensated, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and lastly, we even have the teachers, the science teachers, who are supervising practicals, Mr. Speaker. They are not being compensated in any way, and they spend lots of their time trying to ensure that all the processes go very well, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, NEC continues to frustrate and punish teachers because even in where we have issues of allegations of cheating, NEC is issuing blanket condemnation of even innocent teachers who are then stopped from attending marking, Mr. Speaker, and I fail to understand how fair is this, Mr. Speaker. NEC needs to wake up and address the challenges of teachers so that we are not lamenting year in, out. Why would someone mark examinations of your child at home and have to wait for a very long time to get their dues? And whatever dues they are waiting for are peanuts, Mr. Speaker. So these are issues we really need the Committee of Education to look at and furnish this House with the real issues or solutions to some of the issues I've raised in supporting Senator Sifuna's statement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to make some brief comments on two statements. First, I'll begin with a statement by the distinguished senator from Busia County in regards to the issue of pan paper mill. Mr. Speaker, if my memory serves me right, the Webuye paper mill was sold in 2016 after being idle for 6 years, I think 9 years.
It is brought to my desk.
And was wallowing in debt, and it was sold to a private entity. The role of the government was simple: to facilitate the transaction because it was already with a receivership. So we wait for about 10 more years to be able to raise a question about it. Is that not really interfering with the private entity? In fact, the only role the government had there was only to facilitate, to create, to give licenses, and to create a good environment for business. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether the distinguished senator was really advised on this statement, because then how are you going to ask a private entity who paid 900 million on what they have done with the investment? I mean, seriously, we have to be serious on certain questions. Mr. Speaker, the second statement that I want to comment on is an amazing statement by Senator Hamida. I want to request Senator Hamida on her statement on the issue of rapid test for sickle cell. I know for a fact that the authority to approve the use of rapid test equipment is with the Poison and Pharmacy Board, which is regulated under the Poisons and Pharmacy Boards Act. It is, yes, it is under the ministry, but it is the Poison and Pharmacy Board that approves, and the ministry only recommends the use of these things. So it will be important that when the Senate Committee on Health is investigating this matter, to be able to address directly the Poison and Pharmacy Board, because it's a semi-autonomous entity. You know, whether it's being disbanded or not, but the fact that it was established under, I think, if my memory serves me right, I think it is under the CAP. You know, it's under the Pharmacy and Poisons Act, CAP 224. So if we're going to repeal that section of the law and then come up with a new, but as we speak right now, those are the only people who can be able to give us answers. So, Mr. Speaker, it is important on the first statement that we really, and I want to request the Secretariat to be giving us, to be assisting us understand the importance of the feedback that we get back from the committees. A private entity should be allowed to just do the work privately. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kenyu.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Nataka kuchangia kwa taarifa ambayo imeletwa na Senator wa Nairobi Sifuna na kusema kwamba Bwana Spika, walimu wanafanya kazi ambayo ni ya muhimu sana katika jamii. Na ikiwa hawatalipwa marupurupu yao baada ya kufanya zile kazi zao, Bwana Spika, wanakuwa kivunjwa moyo. Kwa hivyo utawapata wakifanya zile kazi wakiwa wana utepetevu kwa sababu tayari malipo yao hawayapati. Bwana Spika, ukitembelea sehemu nyingi, hata zile wanazofanyia kazi zile, si sehemu ambazo ni nzuri sana kwa sababu wanaamka mapema. Ukitembea pengine sehemu kama za Laikipia, unapata wanapoenda pale shuleni, wanapatana na ndovu, wanyama wengine wa polini. Kwa hivyo wanafanya kazi hizi kwa mazingara ambayo ni magumu sana. Kwa hivyo wanapaswa kulipwa marupurupu yao, Bwana Spika, kwa sababu wao ndio wana msingi wa mambo mengi ambayo yanatendeka, kwa sababu wengi wanapitia katika mikono yao, wawe ni madaktari, mawakili ama watu waliofikia katika nyadhifa mbalimbali, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo walimu wanapaswa kuheshimiwa, kwa mazingara yao kuangaliwa, na vile vile marupurupu yao, kwa sababu hilo ndio tegemeo lao waweze kupata maisha ambayo ni ya kuendelea mbele. Bwana Spika, katika taarifa ambayo imeletwa na Senator wa Busia, ubinafsishaji wa hizi kampuni za umma, Bwana Spika, sijui ni mchipuko yupi ambao umekuja kusema kwamba tukibinafsisha serikali itaweza kupata hela nyingi na iwe katika bajeti, Bwana Spika. Lakini tunapaswa kuwa tukiangalia sisi kama Wakenya ya kwamba ni vipi ambavyo tutaweza kuwa na kampuni nyingi na tuweze kuongeza ushuru ili nchi yetu iweze kujizatiti bila kufanya haya mambo ya kusema tunazibinafsisha hizi kampuni, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo nashukuru Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii na nasema asante.
Now, Honorable Senators, the 15 minutes allocated for that session have long been expended. We have two very critical business that we must conclude today. That is order number 8 and order number 9. So we'll proceed with order number 8 and thereafter conclude order number 9. However, before we do that, I have this communication to make. I would like to, on a courtesy, Honorable Senators, the Youth Senate Kenya is an independent, non-partisan development and advocacy youth-serving organization working towards a just, equitable, and progressive society where young people fully enjoy their economic, social, and political rights and opportunities. Founded in 2014, specifically to spearhead a youth-led development model in Kenya, with a mandate to enrich a democratic dialogue and ensure youth engagement in national and regional affairs. Currently, the organization is working on a youth leadership program across the 47 counties with the support of the county youth senators with the aim to promote value-driven leadership for democratic governance. The organization has also formed both a national and regional network of youth action partners working towards advancing a youth-led approach in development. I request each member of the delegation to stand when called out so that you may be acknowledged in the Senate tradition. Ms. Jacqueline Kibet, Youth Senator from West Pokot County. Mr. Bernard Odhiambo, Youth Senator from Migori County. Ms. Winnie Ongere, Youth Senator from Homa Bay County. Mr. Elijah Tipango, Youth Senator from Kajiado County. Ms. Eda Chebet, Youth Senator from Elgeyo Marakwet County. Ms. Diamond Dakane, Youth Senator from Garissa County. And Mr. Bill Kaunda, Youth Senator from Kisumu County. Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming guests to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation, and on behalf of the Senate, and on behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I will request Senator Esi Okanyuri under 1 minute to extend a word of welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to welcome the youth senators. Before coming to the Senate, I equally had an opportunity to serve as a youth senator, and we were among the founding members along Honorable Gideon Keter. So youth senators, you're welcome here. This is a platform to learn from, and you can easily transit to national politics, or if you're not getting into politics, shape policy that is offering solutions to the challenges this country is facing. So you're very welcome. Take back the regards of senators back to your home counties, and we look forward to interact and get more people to the movement so that we have transformative leadership, which we all yearn for. Thank you.
Next order, clerk. Those call order number 9 as we wait for the chair delegated legislation to.
Order number 9, motion, consideration of the National Assembly amendments to the County Government's Additional Allocations number 2 bill, Senate Bills number 8 of 2025.
The Chairperson Standing Committee on Finance and Budget.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that the National Assembly amendments to the County Government Additional Allocation, Bill number 2, 2025, Senate Bill number 8, be now considered. Mr. Speaker, this bill was a Senate bill, or is a Senate bill, Bill 25, and it underwent the due process, and consequently, the bill was referred to the National Assembly for concurrence as required by our standing orders and the law. And at the National Assembly, Mr. Speaker, some amendments were considered by the National Assembly. And Mr. Speaker, before I embark on the different amendments that the National Assembly did, I want to say that as a committee, Mr. Speaker, we were able to deliberate on the different amendments that the National Assembly considered. And for the sake of the counties, for the sake of service delivery to our people in the 47 counties, Mr. Speaker, as a committee, we agreed and decided to consider the amendments that had been proposed by the National Assembly. And today, as I move this motion, I'll be requesting colleague senators to okay or to vote yes, so that we can close on this matter this particular financial year, and the next financial year, Mr. Speaker, any deficits, any deficiencies that have been incurred will be dealt with, Mr. Speaker. As you know, this bill, which is a county government's additional allocation bill, is monies that we give to the county, conditional and unconditional funds, Mr. Speaker, away from the equitable share that we normally allocate the counties, Mr. Speaker. So in this regard, Mr. Speaker, as Senate, we had approved a total of 93.53 billion conditional and unconditional funds to the counties for this financial year, 25-26, Mr. Speaker. Apparently, when the bill went to the National Assembly, they reduced that figure from 93.53 to 70.66 billion. And these were the following amendments. First of all, Mr. Speaker, is the issue of the construction of headquarters for the 5 counties, a journey that we have embarked on as a Committee of Finance. We were able to deliberate with the governors of those counties, and what was needed for them to complete the construction of the headquarters was an amount of 454 million, Mr. Speaker. Apparently, what National Assembly approved was 449. They reduced with 5 million, Mr. Speaker. As a committee, we looked at this and said, instead of forth and back, we will be able to ensure that in the next financial year, this 5 million is included, is considered, so that that matter comes to an end. Our focus as a committee, when we brought in the different stakeholders, Public Works, the Ministry of Finance, the 5 governors and their senators on this issue, the whole essence was to try and ensure that they get their money, that was that allocation had been done, and there had been consistent delays in each and every financial year, so that we close on this issue of the headquarters. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, was on the issue that we've really had forth and back with the National Assembly, the issue of RMLF, Mr. Speaker, amounting to 23.64 billion, Mr. Speaker. Apparently, the reason we agreed to this is simply because this matter is live in court. It's an ongoing court case, and as both houses, as per our standing orders direct, we felt that since it's a matter that is ongoing, we let the due process of the court take its course, let the conclusion be. And this money is because they are just held, you know. Of course, this money should be given to the counties for the counties to continue doing the road improvements and the road projects that our people do need. But since this money is just still held, we felt that let it not be the issue that makes us have forth and back as far as this bill, Mr. Speaker. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, was on the issue of CAIPs, Mr. Speaker, that we realized that some counties had started very well with the issue of CAIPs. And National Assembly, in their proposals, proposed that those counties that the projects had really moved to a greater percentage, close to above 50%, let them be given that the balances of their money, instead of allocating those funds to new counties for them to restart again, let the counties that have really done massive implementation of the project, let them do to completion, so that that actualization and value for money can be felt, Mr. Speaker. We also, additionally, we had the issue of the Kenya Devolution Support Program, where there are some grants which were revised, like from 1.76 billion to about 3.43 billion. This is an increment, actually. And then at the same time, we had the Kenya Informal Settlement Improvement Project, whose allocation was through World Bank was about 800 million, which was now improved to the allocation was about 800, no, it was about 1 billion, sorry, and this improvement was up to 2.5 billion. There was an increment, Mr. Speaker. So as a committee, Mr. Speaker, we did consider these differences in terms of how much has National Assembly reduce versus the timeline that we have for the counties to be able to get the allocation, and any differences will be factored in the next financial year. We didn't want things to stall or the counties not to be able to move, Mr. Speaker. The other issue, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, was on the, as I've said earlier, was on the issue of the total reduction, which is about 23 billion that has been full. But if members were keen, you realize this amount is highly from RMLF. The 23 billion is the bigger chunk of the total of 93. The 23 is from RMLF. And since the matter is live in court, we felt that the amount that they have reduced is, is minimal. For us to be able to consider this particular amendment as a House, so that we can be able to come to closure of this particular amendment for this particular financial year. And I would request kindly members, because we want to dispense with this issue, Mr. Speaker, I would really request colleagues, I know this is a matter that touches each and every county, and I know today is normally a Thursday. I would really request that we be in the House so that we can be able to dispense with this motion. And I would request my brother, my young brother, my colleague, Senator Eddie, whom we sit in the same committee, to be able to second. And let me use this opportunity still, Mr. Speaker, to offer my sincere, deep-hearted condolences, myself and my dear family, on the demise of our great leader, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, because I know when we met today with Eddie and I had not seen him, I still extended the same. I would wish, when I'm calling him to second, I wish also to sincerely extend the same, and the entire fraternity of the ODM party. Welcome, Senator Eddie.
Mr. Speaker, it's my pleasure again to stand here again to second this motion on the amendments that have come from the National Assembly with regards to the county government additional allocation, the bill number 2 of 2025 and Senate bills number 8 of 2025. Mr. Speaker, I think these are routine bill to second, and I needed to emphasize, Mr. Speaker, that continuous conversation around county government's additional allocations has become prohibitive to development in counties, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I want to urge my colleague senators that we do agree with this report and overall the amendment that have been come from National Assembly, not because we cannot fight further for some of these elements, Mr. Speaker, of monies that we want, but because arduous delay in terms of passing this bill leads to arduous delay in terms of getting finances that goes to the counties. And some of these battles, Mr. Speaker, are battles that extend beyond the wars between National Assembly and the Senate. For instance, the bulk of the money that we're talking about, you remember when this bill came about, we were seeking about 93 billion that was supposed to go to counties. And a big part of this, about 23 billion, was actually the contentious issue of RMLF. That becomes the biggest money that has not been given some consideration here, because if you look at the 5 million that has been adjusted from 454 million to about 449 million is the adjustment on the headquarters issues, which affects 5 counties. But the bulk that I want to center on, Mr. Speaker, is RMLF. And RMLF, Mr. Speaker, we are lucky that I'm also the chair for roads, transport, and housing. under broad-based government, Mr. Speaker, that I've done a lot of work on this RMLF issue. Remember the court decision that actually favored this House that required that the ministry does develop regulations and an understanding that will allow for this money to eventually go to counties, Mr. Speaker, did emanate from the effort that were done from this particular finance and budget department or committee, as well as our own committee of roads and transport, Mr. Speaker. But that said, Mr. Speaker, we still have an active case. The civil appeal number E427 of 2025, which involves the National Assembly and Isa Elanyi Chamao and 14 others, Mr. Speaker. Now, this is the case that is actually forming a dark cloud over this 23 billion that encompasses RMLF. I would advise the House that when it comes to matter spending in court, if we do not pass this and keep on fighting on the issue of RMLF, then it means that the 70 billion that already has been approved for counties, we are in concurrence with the National Assembly on the 70 billion, will equally delay if we do not pass this bill. So I want to urge the House that we do pass the bill as is and allow for the 70 billion to go. And Mr. Speaker, that I want to say categorically is not indicative of any lack of effort or any sense of giving up on the RMLF fight. We are still going to fight it. Let the court decision take the due process. And then once that court decision is done, we are still going to take it forward and fight for it, Mr. Speaker. And on the issue of RMLF, Mr. Speaker, I don't want the fight just to stop on the issue of the 18% chunk of road maintenance levy that we're talking about. Mr. Speaker, you remember I've been vocal this entire year on the issue of the secularization of the road bond, where we have seen that 179 billion has been secularized by the Ministry of Roads to make sure that those roads that are supposed to go on and contractors to go on with those roads, to make sure that that money is raised and help pay the contractors that are doing the roads that have been pending for the last 1 year. My concern has been, Mr. Speaker, that if we have got a roads bond that is going to pay contractors at national level, including actually those who gave way leaves for those roads, Mr. Speaker, it will be unfair to talk about RMLF only in the context of roads that have been, of the money that have been used to maintain roads, and not to look at also the 7 shillings that has been put into the road bond. I think that going with the court decision that we had, Mr. Speaker, even the road bond, we must be able to make sure that goes to the roads that are being done by counties and pay those contractors, Mr. Speaker. This is the question I wanted to make so that somebody doesn't say that we have given up on the 23 billion roads levy. It's just an issue of the court that we must work on. But that said, Mr. Speaker, I want to finish by saying, Mr. Speaker, that unlocking some of these monies, or rather adjusting on the monies by World Bank on Kenya Devolution Support Program, as well as on Kenya Informal Settlement Improvement Project, Mr. Speaker, is a critical one, and it's an area that we have been staggering as a House in terms of oversight and accountability. Even as we align them, both on level 1 and level 2, I want to urge the House that the next critical responsibility is to ensure that we put a framework to ensure that we can be able to oversight those monies as well when they go to the counties. I don't want to belabor, Mr. Speaker, because I know that we want to see whether members can be able to contribute as well as being able to vote on this today. And I hope that the majority whip, who I'm not seeing in the House, and also the leadership from my side, I'm happy that the Senator of Nairobi is here, the deputy minority whip, can be able to get us members to be able to vote on these bills so that we can send this 70 billion back home and do our duty. But most importantly, Mr. Speaker, as we do this, I urge counties, especially those that are bordering Tanzania, to make sure that there is security in our borders, Mr. Speaker. Because what is happening in Tanzania, Mr. Speaker, is completely ridiculous. Where we have seen the Jiranis who used to laugh at us and talk negatively about our country and saying that our children are bad-mannered. Now they have moved from Suluhu to Tatizo that we are seeing in Tanzania, Mr. Speaker.
Relevance.
So
Senator Eddie.
I'm just urging our
if you've concluded, kindly take your
I'm
seat.
concluding by saying that the counties like Migori, where I come from, just be vigilant, even as we send you money, so that these monies can work in a peaceful environment and not be affected by what's happening in Tanzania. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I second.
Senator Richard Onyonka.
Mr. Speaker, I would like...
Senator, before you take to the floor, allow me first to propose the question. That the National Assembly amendments to the county government's additional allocations, number 2, Senate bills, number 8 of 2025 be now considered. Now the floor is open. I have honorable senators on my dashboard wishing to say something. Senator Richard Onyonka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to also just make a few remarks about this discussion that we are having in the House. Mr. Speaker, it's very interesting. If you look at the US right now, actually the government is having shutdown because of the events which are nearly exact what is happening here in terms of whether the National Assembly should agree with the Senate on the shareable revenue. But I think, Mr. Speaker, we now must be engaged as senators to decide whether we are going to actually accept that this is going to be our modus operandi in order for county governments to receive the money that they deserve. After we have discussed all this and agreed amongst us, normally the National Assembly goes and decides that the figures we have either discussed or agreed upon, according to them, those figures should not be what we adopt. And Mr. Speaker, this has been very frustrating as members of the Finance Committee, but we understand that we are in very difficult times. And as a result, you notice, Mr. Speaker, it is my party that has seconded this discussion. And therefore, I'm not going to disagree with my party, but I'm saying, can we as the Senate agree that we are going to finally cure this ping-pong game that takes place between the National Assembly and the Senate? In other words, we're going to have to sit down as a team and agree whether we are going to make the Senate the upper house, so that we then go, when we are having the debates at the level of agreeing what the sector allocations are going to be and what are the deliberations and what are the ministries and all the engaged parties are going to receive as the revenue. Honestly, Mr. Speaker, I think that we must be on that table, that we cannot only be the people who come and discuss only when it comes to shareable revenue. I think we should sit from inception, sit and discuss all the revenues collected, look at what the donor funding is all about, and finally agree that we are going to do this. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, because my friend and brother Eddie Okech has actually made the case, and he has made the case reasonably well, and I think right now, for some of us who are in that mood of mourning, we are not willing to be combative with our brothers, and we let it pass. Mr. Speaker, I support.
Senator for Nairobi City County.
I was laughing, Honorable Speaker, because I don't know if the Senator from Kisii has seen the schedule at page 15 of that report. that in fact the number one county on that schedule that is losing up to half of the money that was scheduled or passed by this Senate is Kisii County. That if you look at the money that was passed by the Senate was 250 million. The National Assembly has slashed it to 127 million. Now, Honorable Speaker, I know what some people are trying to tell us here, that we should not question, for whatever reason, the decisions that the Committee on Finance reaches. But the committee has a responsibility to explain to us what the National Assembly rationale for those reductions was. In my view, Honorable Speaker, for instance, when you look at the amount of money that had been passed by this House regarding the county headquarters for the 5 counties, if you look at that schedule at page 15 of the report, the National Assembly basically just removed 1 million shillings from each county. So if you see, there are 5 counties there: Isiolo, Lamu, Nyandarua, Tana River, Tharaka Nithi, where the Senate has passed 60 million shillings. The National Assembly has reduced it to 59. 121 to 120 for Lamu, 121 to 120 for Nyandarua, 121 to 120 for Tana River, and 31 million to 30 million for Tharaka Nithi. At the very minimum, you know, this just looks like a very arbitrary action, or just, to me, Honorable Speaker, a flexing of muscles that the National Assembly can show the Senate that they can do these things. What is the rationale? I mean, the committee should explain to me what is the scientific reason behind moving the allocation for Isiolo from 60 million to 59. What is the rationale? That is the conversation we want to have. Because for us, Honorable Speaker, who believe in devolution, we see a situation where the National Assembly, most of the times, is blackmailing governors and county governments into accepting things. You have heard the language that has been used here by some of my colleagues who are members of the Finance Committee, that let us just do this so that the money is released so that the counties don't suffer. And I have had conversations with governors when they appear before Public Accounts Committee of the Senate. Honorable Speaker, I have asked them, is it not possible one financial year for us as a family of devolution to tell the National Assembly, you can keep all the money if you want until you are able to give us all that we deserve as a family of devolution? Because this is open blackmail. Every single time, this is the argument. Honorable Speaker, what Senator Eddy has failed to mention to you is that the High Court, which has jurisdiction to determine constitutionality of the laws that we pass here, has already declared the removal of sums of money to do with RMLF from the county governments unconstitutional. I am aware there is a Court of Appeal stay of that decision, but the Constitutional Court has already determined that in fact that was unconstitutional. This is blackmail. It is blackmail that every single time we are not in agreement with our brothers in the National Assembly, they threaten that, oh, we need to just allow this to go so that we are able to get a fraction of what we deserve. So a reduction, Honorable Speaker, of the amount from 93 billion to 70 billion, to me, is a matter that we in the Senate must be concerned about. And I will keep reminding people, you know, Honorable Speaker, it has become fashionable for people to throw around this thing. Every single discussion that comes up, we in broad-based. I want to remind them that the broad-based is based on a 10-point agenda, one of which, Honorable Speaker, was to ensure that county governments are fully financed, fully funded, and that devolution is protected. So when you run around with this thing, always remember that there's an agreement there that is the underpinning of that relationship. And if you do not do what that agreement says, then you cannot run around talking about broad-based. So those of you who like to run around with that thing, please read it. And Honorable Speaker, I have said here before that because even Baba himself told the country that I'm the one who wrote that thing, don't argue with me about its contents. I know exactly what it says. I know exactly what the spirit was. I know exactly what the intention of that agreement was. So, Honorable Speaker, if you see a reduction in amounts that are going to counties of that magnitude, I, as SG of ODM, as a senator, sworn to protect devolution, I must raise the alarm. Let us not hear excuses from the Finance Committee. Let us not hear excuses for the Finance Committee. Which financial year will this Senate ever put its foot down and say, you give us all or nothing? Let the county governments shut down the way that he has said here, because they're always blackmailing us with a shutdown of county governments. One of these financial years, we should put our foot down and say, give us what we deserve or stay with all of it if you don't want devolution to work. So, Honorable Speaker, for me, the committee must put its foot down and get explanations from the National Assembly as to why these decisions were made. And when Eddie raises that point of order, I have no problem. Let him give us an explanation of the 1 million shilling reduction in each county of these 5 counties that was allocated for construction of
Honorable members, allow Senator Sifuna, I believe, is concluding. Let's allow to have him conclude. Senator Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker.
I'm giving you the floor to conclude.
The what?
I'm giving you to continue.
Thank you.
Conclude on the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It is incumbent upon members of the Finance Committee, when you're moving your report, to explain things. We are not members of that committee. If you did not ask these questions, we have a right to ask these questions, Honorable Speaker. I have only asked for the rationale, because to me it appears just an arbitrary plugging of figures from the air like this. So if there is a member of that committee that can explain to us why the National Assembly reduced 1 million from Isiolo, I'm ready and willing to hear that explanation. But the move of the report never said anything. The seconder never said anything. The reductions in the county aggregation and industrial parks allocations, Honorable Speaker, Kisii County, by half. So at the end of the day, we are not, and you can hear some of my colleagues here shouting that you put the question, because they don't want to interrogate these matters. They don't want to interrogate them. So, Honorable Speaker, for me, as a person who's sworn to defend devolution, these questions we will ask them year in, year out. And I want the Senate and its committees to show a bit more spine and not capitulate at the hands of the National Assembly, because we will be blackmailed and told, oh, counties will suffer, salaries will not be paid. I had the opportunity, Honorable Speaker, of visiting one of these industrial parks that is being done by Kiambu County in Githunguri. And they are waiting for this money to be able to process. In fact, when we were there, the issue was that the county was unable to match those funds. And it is part of the discussion about devolution and protection of devolution, Honorable Speaker, when national government comes up with these programs without knowing or without consulting the county governments to know where the resources for these projects are going to come from. Kiambu has been unable to match. We had the governor of Makueni before our committee on public accounts, and he told us, Honorable Speaker, that for Makueni, the feedback that they gave to the national government is that their priority was not those county industrial and aggregation parks. But because someone has sat in Nairobi and decided that these things must be built, despite what you're saying, from what the ground is saying is their priority, they are going to build them whether you like it or not. Honorable Speaker, we swore an oath here to defend those county governments and their interest. We have a responsibility to say no, to push back on national government overreach of devolved functions. So therefore, Speaker.
Senator Eddie, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I'm just under responsibility of statement of fact, Mr. Speaker, 105. And also, perhaps it borders 101, Mr. Speaker, on the statement that my good friend Senator Sifuna has talked about in terms of insinuation that perhaps we're just using the word broad-based to protect a conversation around this bill. Mr. Speaker, I think that it's a matter of fact from my side, and perhaps Senator Sifuna should understand that when I raised the issue of the biggest chunk of money that has not come here, it is an issue that has been blocked by law. The matter is in court. There is nothing we can do for a matter that is in court. He himself is a lawyer, and you know, Mr. Speaker, if he is indeed a lawyer who believes in broad-based, the way I know he believes in broad-based, and Mr. Speaker, you know, he wrote this broad-based, 10-point agenda, is my whip, Mr. Speaker. I didn't go to broad-based in my own volition. He whipped me into broad-based and made sure that I went there by signing this document, Mr. Speaker. On two issues.
Senator Sifuna, Senator Eddie, sorry. Are you debating or you are raising a point of order?
No, the point of order
You
is,
have
is on,
actually
on, I said 101, and I'm dealing with 101 first, where my defense for this particular bill was insinuated to be a mere issue of we're in broad-based, let's just pass this.
Go to 105.
Okay? And let me just finish this because
Go to 105 because that is the question Senator Sifuna was asking, a justification or explanation from the committee on some of those reductions.
Yeah, and I'm saying that 105 is a matter of fact in the sense that the RMLF that has been delayed because the matter is actively on in court. It's not because of a broad-based issue, it's in court. In fact, he is, as a lawyer, should actually perhaps join the devolution family to go to court on behalf of those things that are being delayed by court, including compensation.
Senator Eddie, you've made your point. Take your seat. Senator Sifuna, part of the point of order, which I rule it's not a point of order, Senator Eddie, is an explanation as to the question you asked from the committee, that they ought to have given an explanation as to why part of that money has not been released. And you've got from the member that indeed there is a matter in court, and I believe that suffices to some extent as an explanation, which of course does not necessarily answer conclusively the concerns you've raised, which are entitled to you as a member of this House to raise in debating the report.
Speaker, I have dedicated my life to teaching these broad-based people. First of all, the stay in the Court of Appeal did not stop Parliament from legislating. There is no way a court can stop you from putting a schedule on a piece of legislation. That is what you should know. Luckily for you, you are my classmate at the University of Nairobi, so you know exactly what I am saying. Number two, the Senate was aware of that court case that was going on. We, in our wisdom, never removed the RMLF from the statute. So if tomorrow we wake up, for instance, Honorable Speaker, and that court order has been lifted, and you have a schedule here that does not have RMLF, then you start over the process again. The court did not stop you from doing your job as legislators and making laws. So understand these things, we know them. I know Senator Eddie is not a lawyer, so I'll forgive him. But what you need to do, Senator, as a member of this Finance Committee, please take time to explain to us. If I come here with a report of the County Public Accounts Committee, Honorable Speaker, or indeed the Energy Committee where I sit, I have a responsibility because I'm the one who interacted with those decisions and discussions to explain. All I asked, Speaker, is give us a rationale because these counties are not the same. Isiolo, Lamu, Nyandarua, Tana River, Tharaka Nithi, they are not the same. So how come when the National Assembly is reducing the money, it reduces across the board the same amount? What is the rationale? Because if you look at the initial allocation, Isiolo had been given only 60 million, right? Lamu has 121, which is almost double that. So even if there is a reduction, you would expect that it would be proportionate. Nobody has bothered to explain to us. They're just shouting here that you put the question, Honorable Chair. You have a responsibility to explain. You have a responsibility to explain. No, I have had enough from laymen. Now let you listen to the lawyers now. I don't want your information. Speaker, we will fight for the family of devolution. This is what we saw here to do. And some people are running around here saying there were students of Raila. What would Raila say to a bill that has reduced county allocation from 90 million to 70 million? He would not be here telling me, oh, we are in broad-based. He would say, takataka. Yes. So those of us who knew the man, allow us to tell you what he would have done. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Onyonka. Order, Senator Onyonga. I have notified here that you already spoke to this motion. Take your seat. Take your seat. I was giving you the platform to debate on the motion. That is what we are currently debating. Take your seat. Take your seat, Senator Onyonka. Senator Agnes Kavindo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Even as I support this report from the Committee of Finance, but National Assembly has no right to deduct the monies that we allocate to the counties, because they don't deal with the counties, they deal with National Assembly. So anything to do with the counties, they should just respect us and leave it at what we have suggested. Two, Mr. Speaker, the counties are having a lot of issues right now. Mr. Speaker, if you can pay attention and listen to what I'm saying. Mr. Speaker, the counties are having a lot of issues because of the e-procurement. Right now, from July, I don't think there's any county which has been able to procure anything because of the e-procurement, because according to the counties, it's not working. So this money we are going to pass, I hope it's not going just to lie at Treasury doing nothing until the money is returned back. But they should also see what can be done through the e-procurement so that the counties can start being operational, because there are so many projects which have stalled now in counties, and counties must be working. Mr. Speaker, I don't know if the Committee for Finance also can intervene about the e-procurement issues to the counties. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Boni Halwale, did you queue to speak to this motion, or you wanted to speak earlier on to the statements? We have a problem with the system, so
I'm sorry, that was when I was asking for point of order. I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Now that Senator Faki. Okay, then. But he's not here. Okay, sure. Senator Catherine Muma.
Thank you, Speaker. And I don't know what the system is all about, whether my name is not being seen or whether there is some strategic arrangement.
Senator Catherine Muma, I can assure you that there isn't any malice on the part of the Secretariat.
I know you not to be malicious. I know you not to be malicious. I know the Secretariat not to be malicious. It is just said in gist. Honorable Speaker, allow me to speak to this issue. I rise to support the passing of this bill, but I want to associate myself with the sentiments made by Senator Onyonka and Senator Sifuna in terms of how Parliament is taking its responsibilities on this matter. And Mr. Speaker, I wish to call upon our Committee on Finance to actually help us to play our role in terms of Article 1 and Article 96 on protecting of devolution by enabling us to actually report in an accountable manner so that we are able to clearly indicate to the citizens of Kenya why we must have a back and forth between the two houses. Mr. Speaker, I feel as Parliament, we actually have failed Kenyans when it comes to matters relating to additional allocation funds. Mr. Speaker, additional allocation funds are funds that are deployed towards the government of the day's projects largely. These are funds that are negotiated with development partners to deliver on certain development projects that have been prior discussed with development partners to take place in counties on county functions. So why we would take so much time, having agreed with development partners, bulk of these funds being loans on which we are going to pay interest, why Parliament would choose this to be the arena for showing off their egos between the two levels is not acceptable. And even as I say so, I served in the mediation committee on this bill, and the level of arrogance shown in terms of trying to discuss this issue, particularly by then chair of the mediation, chair of budget in National Assembly, then Ndindi Nyoro, now speaking as if he's a saint. The role he played in delaying the passing of this bill is not acceptable. Once you've negotiated that the World Bank is going to give us a loan, this other development partner is going to give us a loan to deliver on X, why must we wait for the egos of parliamentarians before we deploy that loan? I don't understand why we do that. And I would have liked this committee to report to the Kenyans in terms of the amount of time lost in implementing the projects that were intended to be implemented by the additional allocation funds, to report to the Kenyans how much we have lost in terms of the interest we are going to pay on loans because of the delays caused by Parliament. I think it is time that the Finance Committee tell Kenyans that as a result of this delay, Kenyans are going to lose so many millions as a result of this. I would have liked to see the report of the Finance Committee in terms of the impact of not beginning these projects on time. I would have liked to know from this committee whether in fact some of those projects will be begun given the time of the delay with this issue. Honorable Speaker, the KIPES is about national government project. It is the Kenya Kwanza which came up with the idea of giving 250 million to be matched by county governments in order to start the economic zones. Why do we have a reduction on this money? We would want the government to go back to the people and say, the idea we had around establishing the economic zones cannot be fully implemented because of this. So we are reducing it as a result of this. Are we going to continue telling Kenyans that this project is going on when in actual fact we have removed the money that will actually deliver on this issue? We need the committee to actually be speaking to these issues, so that those who tell the people on the podium that we are going to deliver X, but come in Parliament and claw back on those amounts, should be able to be called out to the public, so that the public knows the promise that was made here is unlikely to happen, because there is a pull and push between members of Parliament who think this should happen in this manner. Honorable Speaker, RMLF is actually before the courts, so I understand the fact that it has been held. But why the hell reduce the 5 million on the building of headquarters? I would want to understand. I would want some explanation, those of you in that committee. We are calling it only 5 million, but I would want to know, and I'm quoting
Senator Muma,
the mover of this.
do you want to be informed by Senator Eddy?
I refuse to be informed, because I'm just quoting the mover of the bill, who actually tried to persuade us to say it is only 5 million that has been reduced, therefore we should just pass this. I am supporting the passing, but I want to understand, why is the 5 million an only? By the way, in 2013, it is the national government that itself offered to build headquarters in the counties that are concerned. Why has it taken 13 years for the national government to deliver on its promise to build headquarters for the counties? What? It is just part of the tactics of the national government to claw back and to frustrate devolution. Our job is to defend devolution. And I would want to ask the committee, please don't reduce us to the rubber stamp of the National Assembly. We need to tell Kenyans the cost analysis and what it costs and the impact that this nonsense is causing to this country.
What's your point of order, Senator Eddy?
My point of order, Mr. Speaker, is just on 101 in terms of just imputing improper motive. I think that this committee, and I want to wish my colleagues the courage, like Senator Mumo is a very good legislator, Senator Sifuna who is also here is a very good legislator. As a committee, when we receive these issues from the National Assembly, we do not participate in appropriation, Mr. Speaker. We actually receive this report, assess them as they are. We cannot do appropriation. So if you impute improper motive in the entire committee that it's like we're doing appropriation is wrong. For instance, the question that has been asked here severally, Mr. Speaker, on why was the 5 million reduced? In the appropriation committee of the National Assembly, Mr. Speaker, because they wanted to be informed, but they don't want us also to tell them. What is happening is that Public Works, Mr. Speaker, has got a responsibility constitutionally to be able to supervise what these headquarters are doing. In the appropriation bill that was brought, Mr. Speaker, I wish they read them, together with Senator Sifuna, that 5 million was put as administrative cost in looking at that particular implementation. Yes, that's where the 5 million went to. It was not taken out by us.
Senator Eddy,
we don't, just a minute, just a minute.
You've made your point, I'll give direction. Take your seat.
Just a minute, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Eddy, take your seat.
I just want to urge Senator Muma and all our
Senator Eddy, take your seat. That point is already made. Senator Muma, I direct that you confine yourself to contents that does not necessarily impute any improper motive on the part of the members of this committee.
Senator, thank you, Speaker. I'm well guided, and I would want to repeat that I never imputed an improper motive on the committee. I have asked the committee.
You did when you said that the kind of nonsense they give you is to rubber stamp.
The kind of nonsense Parliament.
Refrain from going that
Please
direction,
get me.
Senator
Please
Muma.
get me. It was not the kind of nonsense of the committee. It was the kind of nonsense Parliament is subjecting this country to. And we are all parliamentarians, and I would want to...
Order, Senator Tabita. Order, Senator Mudama. Order, Senator Mudama.
Chair, I withdraw to the extent, but the people of Kenya must know that we are playing around with their money, abusing our offices as members of parliament to actually undermine the very job that we are given to do. My point to the committee is that let us be more accountable in terms of information. Give us, now that you knew because it's administration, I guess administration is not important in the headquarters. So why was it there in the first place? Why was it there in the first place if it is not important? So you should have told us in your report, because it is only administration and it's not important, it is okay to have reduced the money with that amount. Now, my point, and I want us to get my point, and I would want the committee to take me seriously. In future, can we tell the Kenyans how much we have costed them by these shenanigans? Yes, I want Kenyans to know how many. I would want you to tell us how much time we have wasted, because it must be National Assembly or Senate that wins in this game. So as I finalize and support, I want to support Senator Onyonka by saying we must find a formula that will ensure additional allocation funds are not subjected to a process that actually delays it unduly, because those are funds that are ring-fenced. They are funds that should not be causing arguments, but we have subjected them to so much argument. And it is important that Kenyans understand this, that Parliament can do better than use public money in the manner in which we are using it. We don't have enough youth employed. We have our lecturers on the streets. We are not paying teachers. Our hospitals could do with more money. We cannot afford to take loans and waste them in the manner in which we are wasting them. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Muma. Now, honorable senators, I will call upon the mover, Senator Tabitha, to reply. Senator Tabitha.
Yes, sir.
Senator Olekina is requesting that you donate 2 minutes of your time because I've already called you. You're out of order, Senator Sotsi. You are out of order. Senator Tabitha, if you are willing, fine. If you are not, proceed to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the humble request. I will allow the 2 minutes to my big brother, Senator Olekina, and then I'll proceed. Thank you.
Senator Olekina, your time is running,
and let me begin by appreciating my dear sister. The only reason why I requested for the 2 minutes is because I think it's important to put the record straight. The delay on this additional allocation is not on the part of the Senate. The Senate Finance Committee has done a tremendous job. The Senate, based on its wisdom, and also statistically, recommended that the additional allocation to counties should be 92 billion. Now, even Raila Amolo Odinga was very clear that when it comes to the issues of road maintenance levy, that money should go to counties. So this matter has delayed because of the court battles, and of course, our committee has done a tremendous job. So the reason why I requested my sister to give me 2 minutes is because I appreciate the work that they've done. This is one committee in this House that has really put the Senate in a higher pedestal by always making sure that they carry out proper due diligence, they carry out proper research. For the very first time, when we discussed the issue of the new revenue formula, a new formula was brought where smaller counties were accommodated. This is something that was unheard of. So I really appreciate the work that this committee has done, and I really hope that now this money, having yielded to the pressure and the money being reduced by the 23 billion, which is specifically the money for the RMLF, ultimately we will win the war. Raila used to tell me that our victory has just been delayed, but ultimately we will be the victors. In this case of devolution, with the spirit of Raila Amolo Odinga, the spirit of the oneness and the unity of this House, we will achieve to send more monies to counties, and one day, and I hope that during our lifetime, our counties will be fully autonomous. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Tabitha.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me really appreciate colleagues who have put in their words, their input, as far as this motion is concerned. And also really appreciate my big brother, Senator Olekina, the way he's actually wrapped it up. You know, he's been a member of this House before, understands these processes, the time, energy that needs to be put, and the wisdom that comes with some of the tough decisions in the House, as a Committee of Finance and Budget, that at times we have to make, is something that we appreciate as a committee. Mr. Speaker, let me start by really saying that the last time when we tabled this bill before this House was at 5%. It was empty, Mr. Speaker. This is a bill that we've debated and discussed before. And when we are embarking on these discussions, the members are not in the House. Senator, my good senator of Nairobi, Senator Sifuna, is now not there. For me to be able to tell him why the 5 million has been reduced. This 5 million actually is for the 5 counties. Each county has been deducted 1 million, and this is not just, a deduction that they are not receiving these monies. These monies are being held by the Ministry of Public Works as an administration cost because they have to supervise, because they have to oversight, because they have to provide the technical skills that comes with it. That's a cost. We have 5 counties, Mr. Speaker. I heard Senator Muma say that this issue of the county headquarters has been there for the last 13 years. Mr. Speaker, the same good senator, Senator Muma, is not even in the House. They say that this committee needs to provide answers, Mr. Speaker. Are we providing answers, Mr. Speaker, to empty seats in this House, Mr. Speaker? The time that we are supposed to give them responses, Mr. Speaker, they're nowhere to be seen. They say they want to talk to Kenyans. How will they then get the feedback if they're not seated here to be able to have a feel of the feedback, the facts that we have, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, when I said sometimes some decisions require wisdom, Mr. Speaker, I am happy that this Senate, the 13th Parliament, where I sit proudly as the Vice Chair, we have come to the end of the issue of the quagmire of the county headquarters, Mr. Speaker. And mark you, Mr. Speaker, all the 9 members that sit in this committee, none actually represent those 5 counties. We did it as a responsibility of this committee. We converged in this same chamber, Mr. Speaker, with the governors, with the Public Works, with the Minister of Finance then, the former, and us as a committee, to be able to deliberate and remove the quagmire. We spoke to the Budget Committee and told them the importance of these funds for the county headquarters to be finished, Mr. Speaker. It is not political. It is in the spirit of Raila Amolo Odinga, the spirit of devolution, Mr. Speaker, that we continue championing, Mr. Speaker. So this 5 million is monies for each, 1 million each per every county for administration costs. I wish they were there. And actually, I'm proud for my members of the committee that we've come to the end of the quagmire of the county headquarters. We leave history as far as this committee is concerned, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when Senator Kathy was talking about the issues of the interest rates as far as these loans are concerned, today, the agenda that we had in our Committee of Finance, we were discussing the loans that government has procured between the month of May and the end of August, Mr. Speaker. And we raised questions, Mr. Speaker. Now, narrowing it to these particular funds, conditional and unconditional allocation, Mr. Speaker, funds from World Bank, IFD Bank, and all those financials, these are monies that accrue interest, Mr. Speaker, that have what we call commitment fee, Mr. Speaker. They have service fee, Mr. Speaker. They have a fee that today I came across called the front and end fee, Mr. Speaker, and many other fees, Mr. Speaker, that come with it. And when we continue delaying, Mr. Speaker, then these funds can be retrieved back by the financiers. They can, if you don't pass this bill. Who is affected? It is the counties that are affected, Mr. Speaker. So, as much as I heard my good senator saying that he's in the legal profession, Mr. Speaker, some of us, Mr. Speaker, are in the financial profession, Mr. Speaker. Senator Kathy Muma, who is also a lawyer, I respect her, but she's nowhere to understand the financials that we offer, Mr. Speaker. I like it when my big brother, Senator Lekina, said that for the first time in history, this House was able to pass the formula with no issues, Mr. Speaker. When the small counties were able to approach this committee and request that they be considered, Mr. Speaker, this same committee listened to that. This year still, when we sat and had mediation, as far as the issue of DORA was concerned, Mr. Speaker, we had a push and pull with the members of National Assembly, Mr. Speaker, but we stood firm. And each and every financial year, we've had increment, Mr. Speaker. We've done the best to ensure that counties have their money. Now, narrowing it to how much has really been reduced, it's actually inadequate, because out of the total 93, they've allocated 70. The 23 billion that I've explained It's for RMLF, Mr. Speaker. It is in the court. What are we supposed to do? You know? So, people are looking for content. People looking for following, Mr. Speaker. Kenyans want facts. And figures do not lie. Figures are factual, Mr. Speaker. And that is what we offer, that is what we give, Mr. Speaker. So in those few and many, I thank really the Secretariat of Finance and Budget led by our clerks, Gitonga. We have legal, Lucy, a very brilliant girl. We have Beverly, Kyoko, and many others who we work together to ensure that our reports are up to point. So at this point, Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 66.3, I beg that the putting of the question be deferred to another date. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Tabitha. Pursuant to the request made, the putting of the question is hereby deferred to the next sitting of the House. Now, honorable members, in order for us to facilitate the next business of the House, I will rearrange the order paper, and I will ask that we call out order number 23. Clerk, call out order 23.
Order number 23, motion, welfare of interns working under the Public Service Commission, PSC, resumption of debate interrupted on Wednesday, 1st October 2025, morning sitting.
Now, honorable senators, this is a resumption of debate that was interrupted on Wednesday, 1st of October 2025, the morning sitting. Honorable Senator Chirargei was on the floor, and you have got a balance of 15 minutes to continue making your contributions. Senator Chirargei, take the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and welcome back. It's good to see you in action. Because the last time I saw you, you were in my county. So thank you, and always keep visiting us so that we also continue as one nation and one people. Mr. Speaker, I continue to move this motion on the issue on concerns regarding the welfare of interns working under Public Service Commission. Mr. Speaker, I want to indicate that this motion concerns the Public Service Commission in interns. Mr. Speaker, you know, in every year, in 2025, 2026, we have 7,000, Mr. Speaker, internship positions across ministries, departments, state agencies, corporation, and public universities. Yet every year, Mr. Speaker, can you believe 250,000 graduates are churned out of universities, colleges, polytechnics, Mr. Speaker. Yet only 7,000 internship are only avoidable within MMDAs or ministries and other state organs, Mr. Speaker. So, Speaker, this internship that run normally for the young people, we run normally for 12 months. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the Employment Act, Mr. Speaker, and when you look at the Labor Relations Act, young people, it is unfair for people to stay more than 6 months or 12 months, Mr. Speaker, as young people. And one of the issues that I've raised is that we need to ensure the interns, Mr. Speaker, are made permanent and pensionable. That is one of the concerns that I'm raising with Public Service Commission and even other agencies, including county governments, Mr. Speaker. I don't see any need why a young person, a Kenyan youth, would become an intern for 12 months, then you release them into the streets, Mr. Speaker. One, we lose the experience, and we lose the resources that we have invested in that young person to work within that department, Mr. Speaker. Let us be like National Youth Service or NYS, where when the recruitment of police and KDF, they are given priority to be employed as members of disciplinary forces in this country, Mr. Speaker. We are losing a lot. Mr. Speaker, we must ensure that any young person that does interns in state law office, in ministries, Mr. Speaker, in county governments, they must be transited into public and permanent and pensionable, Mr. Speaker. You are aware we have a teething problem And I want to thank his President, President William Ruto, on the directive that 7,000 universal health coverage staff who have been interns in our county hospitals for the last 5 years be absorbed under permanent and pensionable terms, Mr. Speaker. I'm happy, Mr. Speaker, because Salaries and Remuneration Commission led by Mr. Chepkwony, who happens to come from my county, Mr. Speaker, has harmonized the salaries rates within their pay slips. You heard the Minister of Health yesterday, Mr. Speaker, that and I want to tell the interns of UHC, Universal Health Coverage, that you should go and camp in the offices of your governors, including the governor of Bomet, including the governor of Nandi, including the governor of Migori, including the governor of Nairobi, including the governor, all the governors 47. I want to tell the UHC staff, wherever they are, the biggest obstacle against the confirmation into permanent and pensionable is Council of Governors, is county governments. Because you heard the minister, and it is on record, Mr. Speaker, you can reproduce the answer. And we want to tell Council of Governors, if they don't want to observe the young people, they should release the 7,000 plus to the Ministry of Health for CS Duale to absorb them to the referral hospitals that we have. Mochichinga Referral Hospital, Mr. Speaker. We are building a brand new South Rift Referral Hospital in Kipkelion, Mr. Speaker. We have the Coast General Hospital, Mr. Speaker. There is one in Kakamega that we want to transit. There is Iya Kenyatta National Hospital, Mr. Speaker. There is one Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Referral Hospital that the President just gazetted the other day as a state corporation. If the Council of Governors, Mr. Speaker, can you believe governors cannot confirm UHC staff who assist us to provide medical services, but they are quick to hire people who carry their tissue papers and their seats and to welcome them and to organize their seats. Mr. Speaker, have you seen the advanced team of governors? They come in front, clear everybody, then they put the seats, Mr. Speaker. Yet they cannot confirm the young people that we have in this country, Mr. Speaker. I want to call upon that on this issue of interns, Mr. Speaker, the biggest obstacle in UHC confirmation is Council of Governors. Number two, Mr. Speaker, it is unbelievable that 20% of, less than 20% of interns secure full-time public sector employment post-internship, Mr. Speaker. I think it is very important that we create something called Public Service Graduate Talent Pool to match the interns with the young people, Mr. Speaker. Let us create the Public Service Graduate Talent Pool so that we know if you are a trained lawyer, Mr. Speaker, lawyer, if you are let's say a trained mechanic, a trained doctor, there is a pool of service graduates that are there, Mr. Speaker, sir. So I want to appeal, Mr. Speaker, and it is sad, Mr. Speaker, to say this. It is unfortunate most of these interns, whenever they are given internship, Mr. Speaker, they are not doing their internship work. Most of their seniors misuse and abuse them, Mr. Speaker. When you work and see interns in most of these offices, they have been reduced to be T-girls and T-boys. Mr. Speaker, they are cleaning offices. They are being sent for personal errands, Mr. Speaker. They are being even subjected to sexual favors, among other favors, Mr. Speaker, including carrying lunches for their bosses, Mr. Speaker, doing laundry for their bosses, Mr. Speaker. I'm lucky, Mr. Speaker, because when I was doing my pupillage, my supervisor and my boss, Wanjiku Sera, you know me, I'm not a tribalist. My supervisor as a pupil is Wanjiku Sera Karuga, Mr. Speaker. And she did not subject me to what my colleagues were subjected when they were pupils, Mr. Speaker. When they were interns, I remember when I was doing my judicial attachment, when I was traveling from Kapsabet, Mosoria to Kapsabet, Mr. Speaker, most of my intern colleagues were being subjected, Mr. Speaker, to some funny business by their bosses in the offices, Mr. Speaker. We need to ensure dignity of interns. The young people are protected. They were not given, Mr. Speaker. And I'm happy to have interacted with a number of interns in your law firm, Mr. Speaker, and I was impressed that you are treating them with dignity. Let this issue of misusing and abusing interns, because they they are financially constrained, they want to look for relevance, Mr. Speaker. That is why should you? These are young people. These are our future. Let us mentor them. Let us not abuse them, Mr. Speaker. Let us give them the opportunity to grow. Mr. Speaker, another aspect you have to note, most of the bosses and most of the permanent and pensionable employees, I'm not saying including the table office, some of them are selfish. They don't want to teach the interns. They don't want to show them the ways. There is a Shaolin movie, Mr. Speaker, the Shaolin table movie. They say, Master, show us your ways. They don't want to show it, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I'm appealing that let us also give dignity. Mr. Speaker, the third point, because I'll only have 4 points, is let us increase the stipend. Apart from promoting permanent and pension, let us increase the stipend, Mr. Speaker. How do you pay 15,000 for an intern in Nairobi? 15,000 is lunch to some big boys in this town. 15,000, where will you get a house somewhere in Mulot of even 3,000 shillings, Mr. Speaker? In Kapsabet, if you have to pay 3,000, transport, in my time, I used to live at home in Mosoriat, but that day, to travel from Mosoria to Kapsabet was 35 shillings. Now it's 100 shillings, 100 plus. Even from Mosoria to Eldore, things have changed. The cost of living has gone up. How do you give an intern 15,000 shillings as a stipend? That is why they are prone to abuse. That is why they are being misused. Because they don't have finances. I meet parents most of the time. They are telling me my child is doing internship in Nairobi or Mombasa or anywhere, Mr. Speaker. But they cannot, they want money for rent, they want money for transport. Because we are giving them 15,000. How do you pay 15,000 a young person at this day and era, Mr. Speaker? Let us give even 50,000. 50,000, they can get a decent housing in Gumo or Rongai or Mukuru kwa Ruben. At least they can get something of 10, 15,000 to live in, Mr. Speaker. Or even where I was living in high-rise and we were living like 4 men in one room, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's not imaginable, but that's how we survive. When we were in Kenya School of Law, serious lawyers like us used to live like squatters in Samo because you have to share the room you live. You don't see even the sunlight. So your room, you don't know whether it's a daytime or night, Mr. Speaker. Let us improve to 50,000 so that the youth interns can have opportunity to live a decent life. They can buy clothes, they can get transport, they can get food, they can get a better rent, Mr. Speaker. Let us make it to 50,000 plus so that the young people, Mr. Speaker, can... I'm not saying the young people should increase so that we end up big share. That is not the point. I want them to listen. I want them as they learn, they get better land, a good environment, Mr. Speaker, so that it is not in the interest that they only want, Mr. Speaker, when I've talked to most of the interns, they want to learn. They want to be permanent and pensionable. They want to grow. They want to serve this nation. That should be our goal, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is not in the interest that they just want money to go for rev or to kupiga shere. It is the interest that they want to develop their skills, Mr. Speaker. I've seen my light is on. So that is why I'm proposing that we increase the current stipend from 15,000 to 30,000. And I want to challenge the National Assembly, the Senate, the county assemblies.
Senator Chirorge, want to bring your attention to Standing Order 92. Yes. I've listened to you on 2 comments you've made on the language that you've used in your submissions. Stick to the rules.
Okay. My apologies, Mr. Speaker. You know, as we also debate on the House and follow the rules, there are many young people who are following this conversation. So I'm trying to touch base with them as well as play by the rules. But my indulgent Speaker, please forgive me. I know by the beatings of Jesus Christ we receive forgiveness. So in the same spirit of Jesus Christ, just forgive me and allow me to drive this point home, Mr. Speaker. So what I'm proposing, Mr. Speaker, let us increase from 15,000 to 30,000 to 50,000. For example, if you are an intern within a city, let us make it 50,000. For other small towns like Jebalungu, Mulot, Bomet, Kapsabet, Kabiyet, Mr. Speaker, Iya Kabasi in Naivasha town, or Nakuru is a city. Nakuru is a city we can include somewhere, I don't know, somewhere in Kenol here. I don't know whether Kenol is a city in Muranga. So, Mr. Speaker, those we need to ensure that we increase. And I know the table office and a number of us who did interns. I don't know whether Senator Karen Nyamu went for internship, but some of us are familiar with the challenges that most of these young people face, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, this internship, we must be careful so that we protect and ensure. My final remarks to the young people. As we push for permanent and pensionable for Public Service Commission interns, as we push, Mr. Speaker, for increase of stipend, we want also you to be disciplined, to follow code of work ethics. We don't want, when we have pushed for stipend, we have pushed for protection of dignity, you report to work at 9. If the code of ethics say you report at 8 a.m., be there by 7:30. Most of them don't have families. They don't have children. What excuse do they have not to report to work early? And leave even late. I want to advise them, if it reaches 5, ask your boss to give you a few assignments, finish them, you never know. You can be retained in that office. And I know you and me have been employers, and even Senator Karen Nyamu, and maybe table office. You know, an employer also includes when you are rearing dairy cows, or you have a shamba boy. It is also part of employment. You will always be impressed with somebody who reports to work early and ensures that they ensure they give it to Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, because I want to listen to my colleagues, allow me to yield the floor as I move and request one of the youthful Gen Zs of our time. You know, in the last parliament, Mr. Speaker, before you joined us, you know, you are the lawyer of the government. When you are busy representing government and the president, I was the Gen Z then. But of late, we have the vibrant. I wish the guest of Senator A.C. Okenyuru was still there to see her in action, but I know they are following it through TikTok, because we are live on TikTok, we are live on Twitter, and we are live on YouTube. I think so. And Facebook, and Snapchat. All those we are live, Mr. Speaker. I know to you it looks unfamiliar, but I know you will catch up immediately. So, Speaker, let me welcome the distinguished Senator, Senator S.C. Okenyuru, to come and second, so that we can open for others, Mr. Speaker, and then I will be able to sit and listen. I beg to move. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator S.C. Okenyuru, and for your information, Senator Cherargei, I am equally tech-savvy and able to be available in almost all the platforms which you've mentioned. I'm not out of the box. I'm in the box. Senator Essie.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to second this motion by Senator Cherargei. And Senator Cherargei continues to distinguish himself in defending the rights of the most bottommost of the pyramid in this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of interns that he has brought this afternoon, in this country, Mr. Speaker, as a young person, you are literally begging for everything. You're begging for food, you're begging for healthcare, you're begging for education, you're begging for upkeep, even little entertainment, Mr. Speaker. So when you actually look at the prevailing conditions, young people are looking for somewhere to find a shelter. But what is the situation in this country? For you to get internship in this country, it's actually modern-day slavery. The only difference is you're actually not being forced, but you have to know someone who knows someone for you to get that internship, and which you end up being paid 15,000. Even as the owner of this motion, Senator Cherargei, suggested 30,000, for me, I feel it needs to even go to 50,000, Mr. Speaker. Because now what is happening, even after these young people secure their internship in a particular organization, they are equally experiencing gender-based violence. We have people who want to reach out and, request for certain extensions here and there, and you find that young people are falling for that because they are looking for money. These are some of the real life challenges we are talking about that young people in this country are going through, Mr. Speaker. And when these young people fail now to get somewhere to be, most of them are now ending in drug abuse, taking cheap alcohol because they can't afford good entertainment joints and have something reasonable for them. And we are now burying most of them, Mr. Speaker. Whereas internship was meant to be a training ground for future government employees. But what do we have now? Anytime you go, I personally did my internship at Nairobi County here, at the registry office. Anytime you go to an office and you can see the senior citizens who've been there for quite a long time, and they see an intern who has just come in, the look someone will give you does not motivate you to want to even volunteer in that organization, Mr. Speaker. So we need to change the perception on how we look at young people who are volunteering their services as interns. It actually doesn't need to be, it's not, you know, you're not doing young people, it shouldn't be a favor. Let organizations know that this should be mandatory in shaping skills of our future employees in different departments, Mr. Speaker. But what we currently have does not motivate most of them to want to transit to other organizations they would want to reach out, Mr. Speaker. It must also be acknowledged that, you know, public service needs to lead by example, because they're the ones who need to show how employees need to be handled in different departments. So interns should not be handled differently the way employees of other organizations are being handled. Interns need to be given equal treatment as other employees, because we are shaping their skills to being integrated in the job system in this country. And this is the only way we can encourage most of them to actually participate in giving their skills. And for the young people with good ideas, we need to protect those good ideas or nurture good ideas. Because now what happens, you find people with young people with good ideas, and because he or she is an intern, people take advantage and they're making money out of those good ideas. We are not going to watch as that happens. And that's why I personally am supporting this motion largely because it actually paints the picture of an ordinary young person from those rural areas whose coordinates sometimes you'd not even locate, Mr. Speaker. And interns in rural localities cannot be given the same compensation as interns in urban counties. Interns who are working in Nairobi are likely to experience very high cost of living than interns in other localities. So there needs to be a standard way of determining what compensation to give interns who are in a certain rural area compared to interns in a certain urban area. So it's really unfortunate that even as young people whom we are churning out from campus, from technical institutions, from colleges, that still when they go for them to undertake their internship, they still have to suffer and undergo the same frustration that they underwent to even acquire basic education, Mr. Speaker. So I surely would want to urge the other members of the Senate to support this, because interns need better treatment in this country. We do not want interns who are committing suicide because of work conditions that are very toxic, people who do not appreciate their contribution to service. And this is the only way we can emancipate ourselves from what we are going through. Finally, Mr. Speaker, like I said, it's not a favor, it shouldn't be a favor for organizations. This needs to be altered to actually ensure that organizations in this country are forced to actually accommodate graduates who are coming out. Because how do you expect these graduates who are coming out to learn skills? Had I not been in this affirmative position I got as a senator, not very many Kenyans would have known my capacity or my capability in representing young people, women, and all other citizens of the country if you do not give people a platform. So interns need better management, better remuneration, not the 30,000 that even Senator Cherargei is suggesting here. Let it go to 50,000 so that we are attracting young people to volunteer, to serve this country in a manner that has integrity, so that we do not have people who are also learning shortcuts because of the behaviors they are learning from the staff they have met in those organizations, Mr. Speaker. So I do not wish to add more to whatever I have already said, but let's not allow young people to beg outside and still beg while serving as interns. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Essie. Now, honorable senators, I propose the question that aware that the Public Service Commission has provided internship opportunity to many youths in various government departments and agencies for a period not exceeding 1 year pursuant to guidelines on management of the Public Service Internship Program of October 2019, appreciating that since its inception, the internship program in Kenya has been instrumental in providing practical experience to graduates, enhance employability, offered networking opportunities, and has, on a number of occasions, led to full-time jobs to graduates. Concern that internship opportunities are limited in number, skewed in distribution across government departments and agencies, lack clear pathway to permanent employment, have inadequate opportunities for skill development due to short duration that they are offered, and that the stipend offered to Public Service Commission interns is insufficient, with an average stipend ranging from Kenya shillings 15,000 to Kenya shillings 30,000 per month, which is not sustainable, especially to interns living in major cities like Nairobi, Mombasa, and Kisumu, where the cost of living is too high. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves that the Cabinet Secretary for Public Service and Human Capital Development, in consultation with the Public Service Commission, reviews the guidelines to the Public Service Internship Program of October 2019 with a view to 1. Increase the stipend offered to interns to cushion them against the high cost of living, and 2. Put in place mechanisms to promote and reward innovation by interns. Now, Honorable Senators, this motion is now available for debate, and the floor is open for debate. I will invite Senator Karen Nyamu to make her contributions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to strongly support this motion on the welfare of interns under the Public Service Commission. We know in 2019, the Public Service Commission opened its doors to thousands of graduates, fresh graduates, in the ministries and in all government departments, with the aim of exposing them to the job place and giving them necessary experience and fast time, kind of a job experience, Mr. Speaker. And the initiative was very noble, no question. But the story right now paints a different picture. Our interns, the stipend that was agreed upon 6 years ago in 2019 is still the stipend that they are earning to date. That is 15,000. An intern who is posted to Nairobi has to pay rent, has to use that stipend for transport and basic meals, because that is all they can afford with that amount. Mr. Speaker, that paints a different picture and spirit with what was the intention of this internship program. They were not supposed to struggle. It was on a positive note that this program was achieved, Mr. Speaker. And that is why this motion is very timely and necessary. Because these learners, they are not just students. Even at the workplace, reports show that they have been able to come up with innovations that have made the workplace more efficient and even save time. We need a program where we can recognize and reward such talent, because what they bring is fresh ideas and digital skills at the workplace. We need to find a framework of how we can appreciate that, reward it, and even absorb the outstanding ones into the job market, Mr. Speaker. And we have already said that this is not a favor that we are doing the interns. It is an investment of this country to our future, because the youth are our greatest asset in this country. And when we empower them, we empower families, we empower our communities, Mr. Speaker. And let this Senate be the voice of the young people of this country, the voice for fairness and a voice for opportunity for them, so that we pass this motion that supports their welfare and consistently increases that stipend and also rewards those outstanding interns with job opportunities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Eddie Okech.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this motion by Senator Cherargei. Mr. Speaker, the strength of a nation and our nation progresses is measured first by how it treats its children. How you treat your children from when they're coming up. You know, the kind of lifestyle you want for your children determine the stride of that nation. After your children, Mr. Speaker, then you measure the strength of a nation by how it treats its teenagers. What kind of opportunities, what kind of exposure, what kind of social amenities that you put together for your teenagers to grow as full human beings. Then the third, Mr. Speaker, close to that, is now how you measure the youthful bulk of the population that then must go now to build this country, which is where the majority of our young people find themselves today, Mr. Speaker. When you talk about the issue of internship, Mr. Speaker, it is indeed critical that this is something that the government would only do as an investment if the government is serious. You do it as an investment into your population to make sure that, number one, apart from the knowledge that our young people and the youth have been able to acquire in schools, can they actually make those knowledge practical? How practical is the knowledge that they have? Because, Mr. Speaker, you've seen a number of times that when young people go to look for employment in the private sector especially, and in the civil society, the first card that they are pushed out of the door with is that you don't have experience. So then it behooves the government to make sure that they have got that practical experience that opens up their opportunities beyond government and within government. The second thing, Mr. Speaker, of course, is are you able to employ these young people as a reliable source of labor, whether in government or outside? And therefore, the second reason why you invest in these young people is to boost that element of employability. And, Mr. Speaker, if that is the government's target, then it has to be an investment. I wonder, Mr. Speaker, how then you will bring a policy that first goes through a rigorous process of identifying these young people. Number two, give them some small stipend that does not even feature in terms of their day-to-day survival. Because if you think about the young people in this Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, there's a bare minimum they can live in, they can live on. For instance, Mr. Speaker, if you're going to put a regulation and you don't look at how is these young people getting from the place where they stay to where they work in government. Even in rural communities, Mr. Speaker, if you go to a place like Migori or you go to Kisumu, these young people who are in these internship opportunities, they travel from home to a place of work. So it means that if you're doing a regulation, Mr. Speaker, you must make sure that that amount caters for them to be able to get to the place of work. Number two, Mr. Speaker, they are human beings. They must eat. Your regulation cannot lack a consideration of, will this person be able to survive during this 1 year being able to eat something? Number three, Mr. Speaker, they are young people. They can't come to work naked. Will this be able to sustain their simple clothing? And then number four, Mr. Speaker, they must have a shelter. And nowadays, Mr. Speaker, in the world where we live, where we've got opportunistic diseases, Mr. Speaker, a bare minimum element of basic need is also health care, Mr. Speaker. So there must be a matrix for which this investment must be done with the government, Mr. Speaker, that cannot keep on relying on a 6-year regulation that was passed, Mr. Speaker, by the relevant ministry. So I wish the government the courage to actually look at this thing practically as an issue of wholesome investment in wholesome development of a human being called a youth in this country, Mr. Speaker. Because otherwise then, you are wasting your money not giving these young people the best investment. If you're going to put money of 15,000 so that it just becomes Bora, and I'm quoting this, Mr. Speaker, Bora internship, but not internship Bora, then you have destroyed this young person, Mr. Speaker. In fact, where we are, Mr. Speaker, today, I wish the government the courage to look at all those indices that I've measured, from clothing, to housing, to transport, to basic health care. Things like SHA, Mr. Speaker, a young person should not be able to struggle just because they're going to internship, that they cannot be able to pay for their own SHA. Those 4 indices, Mr. Speaker, in our current economy, at a bare minimum, not even at a competitive level, Mr. Speaker, should be 60,000. Why can't we just give these internships 60,000 and then be more adventurous on the placement angle, Mr. Speaker, so that you can be able to give these interns a good experience, a good chance to do internship, but come up with a more elaborate way of making sure that they have got good placement from which you can be able to recover from, Mr. Speaker. In fact, this motion, Senator Cherargei, I wanted to encourage him that we must end up rethinking this motion from a framework perspective. Because we are a house of legislation, Mr. Speaker, I want to wish the author of this motion, Senator Cherargei, that okay, let's be bold and go ahead and put a framework based on these indices that I've said, that those indices, we put a framework to them and put a cost to it. Excuse me, Mr. Speaker. So that that cost, Mr. Speaker, can be able to actually take care of the money we're talking about. Just from where I sit, I think it cannot be less than 60,000. And I've seen, Mr. Speaker, some of these interns even struggle, even on the statement that was brought by Senator Sifuna about teachers, because we also have intern teachers in this bracket. Sometimes we call them sometimes acting teachers, Mr. Speaker, some who are being paid by BOM, the board of the schools, and some also who are just acting maybe as headmaster or headmistress, but then they don't get paid properly, Mr. Speaker. Those teachers, if you look at the contribution they are making, it's ridiculous, Mr. Speaker, that they're not being compensated appropriately. They are treated as cheap labor, yet they have experience in this country. And Mr. Speaker, actually, it's almost tantamount to slavery. Because for instance, if somebody is working in a place like Nyatike, a young person who has just left school, suffered in Chuka, or suffered in Mount Kenya University, acquired the necessary knowledge, they have been put in Nyatike constituency, where TSC has got proper regulations of what constitutes what we would call hardship allowances, and then they are regulated in a way that those hardship allowances are not taken care of, or they keep on being manipulated because of a regulation by TSC. Why can't we be bold in this kind of motion to just go ahead and do a legislative piece on it and say, in Nyatike constituency, because of this and this, we classify it as a hardship area. In Kuria, where I come from, Mr. Speaker, they face the same. I've gone to some places from like where Senator Sokajuri comes from, in parts of Kisii, where, Mr. Speaker, is the same story. Those teachers keep on suffering, Mr. Speaker. So we must look at this thing in a very awesome way, Mr. Speaker. To the extent, Mr. Speaker, and again I excuse myself here to just get water because this issue of youth is in my heart. I might... So, Mr. Speaker, I want us to start thinking very clearly around making this motion more comprehensive, Mr. Speaker. Because if you think about it, we must even look at the diversity of the programs. For instance, Mr. Speaker, and I want to wish Senator Cherargei the courage of this. Currently, it is a linear model where you go to internship for 1 year, you get paid 15,000, no guaranteed placement, then you can leave, and when you leave, we don't know where you go. We wish you well. That cannot keep on happening. Why can't we have a diversity and inclusive program where it is a more circular kind of program where even the government, in a place where they might not have enough work that could be able to increase perhaps something like, wage bill problems in the government because there's not enough work in government, government cannot employ everyone. Why can't it be that in this kind of motion, we can come up with proposals on looking at the private sector and come with arrangement with the private sector and organization in the private sector so that interns who have gone through government programs can be taken in by the private sector in an arrangement where the government will give some subsidy of stipend or salary to the private sector to take these youth in. Because if there's a private sector where they are willing to spend 30,000, what is the problem with the government, perhaps even repurposing some of the funds that I'm seeing in government, like ASLA fund, that is 50 billion worth of money. You can repurpose it to say, I'm going to take this 50 billion and give it to the private sector. Any private sector that is willing to employ young people at 60,000 or at 70,000, but then we subsidize 40,000, we will be able to give you that money, and then you repurpose it for these young people and take them in even for 5 years. I think it's possible. It's possible to look at diverse and inclusive programs, not only on cost alone, Mr. Speaker, but also on things like gender and disability, Mr. Speaker. You can even reduce these repurposed programs, Senator Cherargei, and say, okay, maybe you cannot be able to take all interns, but at least why can't we mainstream all the women interns into job opportunities? Or why can't we repurpose this? You can say, okay, we understand that we will not take all the interns to a permanent and pensionable jobs, but at least it's a regulation that where we have taken all disabled members of the community who are youths who have been taken into these programs, those ones we must guarantee them permanent and pensionable programs. We must start from somewhere, Mr. Speaker. That's all I'm saying. That we must have this diverse program that must start from somewhere. It pains my heart, Mr. Speaker, when I think about UHC, Universal Healthcare, staff, who constantly, we have been debating for the entire 1 year about them being mainstreamed into a permanent and pensionable program, Mr. Speaker, and some of them are disabled members of the society who have gone and done the arduous work, the hardest job of studying medicine, Mr. Speaker. They have come out and had degree in technical works in labs, have degrees in nursing, have degrees in handling patients in different capacities, and then they themselves are left without jobs, Mr. Speaker. I think it's possible to come up with a framework that is diverse and that can be able to ensure that we can be able to give specific programs that takes in a swath of those people who are young people as interns in this country, Mr. Speaker. I also think, Mr. Speaker, that there is a chance here that we can also do some targeted programs that take in these interns on places of authority that we are seeing in some of the programs that we are seeing in the country. For instance, Mr. Speaker, KRA internships that we see. KRA internships are done in such a way that you go to KRA, you have studied more prolific financial understanding, tax laws in the current order, but when you look at the promotions that are happening within KRA, they don't follow the order of experience. They follow the order of who do you know. or who is your grandparents, or who are your parents. You go to some programs, Mr. Speaker, like you've seen with the ICT Authority internship programs. We have seen this also with the Presidential Digital Talent programs. I mean, how do you explain to me, Mr. Speaker, without being ageist or without being naive, how do you explain to me the kind of programs that we are seeing people at 45 in the Presidential Digital Talent Program, between 45 and 55, being given more permanent job and more promotions, compared to these Gen Zs who have given us trouble on the digital era between the ages of 19 and 28. Who is more savvy, if you're just to speak, honestly speaking? I think that it is more practical that these younger people are more savvy in these digital spaces, and they have got more understanding of the gig economy. Their only problem is their age. They are being vilified for their age in some of these talent opportunities, Mr. Speaker. So I think there's an opportunity there for us to do targeted programs where internships make sense for a certain age and experience that goes with that age. I would understand. For instance, sometimes accounting work might take longer for people to master all the programs. But where sometimes age is the inverse proportion to the experience that they have, like what I see the Gen Zs are doing online. They are more savvy, they are more technical in the digital space, that the ICT departments, as well as programs of the digital economy in this country, Mr. Speaker, those should not even go through internship for 12 months, Mr. Speaker. They should come from school, given the equipment, they are technical, absorb them through a targeted program, Mr. Speaker, and let them contribute in our economy. This is not just about an issue of cost. It's also an issue of output. Total productivity per factor of our economy, Mr. Speaker, is enhanced by getting the best drivers on the best seats that they can be able to do, Mr. Speaker. And I dare say, Mr. Speaker, that some of these opportunities that we're seeing in government, young people are the best drivers to be able to drive those seats, Mr. Speaker. So those targeted programs, Mr. Speaker, would want us to see in this motion that we're working on today, Mr. Speaker. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, is just the issue of information sharing and having a database that can be able to share with young people more opportunities within and without government. I think that we have not done well, despite the fact that this program has invested so much in the intake of this internship program, interns, and in the intake of those who need to be skilled and reskilled, Mr. Speaker. There hasn't been a commensurate corporate kind of culture in government to make sure that there is proper information on where opportunities lie post-internship, both locally and even in the international arena, Mr. Speaker. I think the government can do a better job in making sure that you build a proper database, a proper resource center for interns, that in the next 12 months that you'll be in government, in whichever department that you are in, you are interacting with a lot of information in the private sector, and KEPSA has got a lot of this kind of, not just website-based database, but they have got more other interactive opportunities that you can be able to get in terms of getting information, so that interns during those 12 months that they're in government can be able to get opportunities way beyond where they are seated now. And some of these, the Speaker, can expand to a more diplomatic role that you can be able to play. I know for a fact, Mr. Speaker, for instance, that there are companies that want to do research in Kenya today, in Africa in general, Mr. Speaker, and those companies are based in the Silicon Valley in the US, but they cannot be able to get competent interns. Why? They are in government, they're not interacting with information from the other side of the world. We need to be very good at being savvy in developing proper resource centers and information centers and resource databases that these young people, while they're working for government as interns, they can be able to interact with and get jobs abroad. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I want to stop there, but I want to encourage all of us that opportunities for young people cannot continue being a second thought. It cannot continue being a second thought, Mr. Speaker. We are wasting an entire generation, an educated manpower, a very patriotic population that, if well used, can always be the biggest contribution and the wealth that we have in this country. But we have seen time without number that if they are not well utilized, they can also be a ticking time bomb. We have seen that last year. We are seeing it across the continent. We are seeing it even in Tanzania, although in Tanzania, I think, Mr. Speaker, it's not more the issue of being a ticking time bomb. It's just that they're dealing with dictatorial tendencies of some of our leaders that we are seeing that are doing some ridiculous stuff like forcing an election that is not there in Tanzania, Mr. Speaker. So I want to encourage, Mr. Speaker, that let us invest in our young people and let us make sure that our youths, their talent, their time is turned into treasure. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Tabitha Mutinda.